Say automotive reviews. Now, the question about the Ford Bronco and about having one is the basic modifications for off-road. What are the basic modifications for your new Bronco? Let's go over this. Now, off-roading is challenging to define. Now, what makes the topic of modification for off-road vehicles even harder to explore? One person might think that off-roading as driving down a well-maintained gravel road, while another individual might look at it as, you're covered in mud, dents, and scrapes at the end. Now, this brings us to the first question. What do you want to do with your new Bronco? Will it be your only automobile? Or must I say, will it be your only mode of transportation and used for multiple applications? And does it still have a daily function, or is it exclusively used to go off the beaten path? Now, the answer to these questions is going to guide your modification to determine what off-road parts you may need. Now, luckily, no modifications are required for light off-roading. Any SUV or truck with all-wheel drive or part-time permanent four-wheel drive system, and you're good to go. Now, how to make sure that your Bronco is really off-road ready. Now, the most common mistake people make when it comes to upgrading is starting at the wrong end of the spectrum. It's also worth remembering that every modification comes with a penalty. Increasing the ride height affects the center of gravity, creating havoc with the modern truck traction, the control systems. So when it comes to modifying your Ford Bronco for off-road duty, you do your homework and get personal input when deciding what you want to change. Now, the best place to start is with the off-road tires, including a spare tire or two. Now, the increase in ground clearance is going to be minimal, but clearance is worthless without grip. Can't go anywhere. Now, fitting an off-road suspension or a lift kit means absolutely nothing if you're still running a set of all-terrain tires. So, when thinking about how to make your Bronco off-road ready, step one is to look at the tires. Now, for this guide, you can look at three main categories. Now, the Bronco already comes with some good tires for off-roading. All-terrain, snow tires, rock and mud. Now, as the modern SUV is expected to fulfill many roles, most are equipped with all-terrain tires as standard these days. An all-terrain tire is perfect for regular dirt driving, but is quickly defeated in more severe conditions. The tread soon fill up with mud, essentially leaving you with a slick tire with no grip at all whatsoever. Snow tires are related to the season. They're special rubber compound that's flexible below a specific temperature. And the standard tires are going to simply just freeze and get hard on you. And it won't be of any value. Now, most modern trucks is going to be equipped with either rock or mud terrain tires. Both have a lot in common, such as big tread blocks, reinforced sidewalls, and deep tread depth. Now, the bigger tread blocks provide grip in extreme off-road conditions, and reinforced sidewalls will stop puncture from happening. Now, on the downside, the tires offer appalling grip on road. Can imagine. Now, everything comes at a price. Now, you have to sacrifice on-road stability. Now, using them daily is not just annoying, but it can be costly, and in some situations, it can be flat-out dangerous. Now, ARB and all the other modifications, they do this to the Bronco to set it up. There are people out there that can do it. And not only that, but Bronco also has so many accessories, 200 to be exact. So anything that you want, you can actually order from Ford and have them put it on there. Now, the best thing to do, again, like we said earlier, is to get the Bronco with everything done. Save you some money. Now, back to the maximized performance. Now, as a general rule of thumb, any vehicle with four-wheel drive, low-range gear, a locking road differential, and a set of off-road tires is a competent machine. But some adventurers like to go to extreme, in which they'll need body lift kits, And in some situation, the question are either, but most people go for the lift route because it's more affordable off-road mod. A set of 2.5-inch spacers cost around $100, and it increases the ride height and allows you to fit bigger tires, but the ground clearance stay the same. A suspension-based lift is more expensive and more complex. It makes it possible to fit larger tires, increase the ride height, and ground clearance. So what's the best off-road suspension setup available? It's usually an 18-inch lift. That looks cool, but it's not practical unless you're talking about mudding your Bronco, which would be fun as heck. Now, the best compromise is a full suspension kit with adjustable damping. Costs a lot of money. And definitely, you want to make sure you have underbody protection. If you don't get it done by the factory, one of the most critical 4x4 off-road parts is the basic steel plate. Underbody protection is very, very important. Not all shop rocks can be avoided. But in some situations with the underbody protection, you got protection. And the rear wheels lose traction and the car angle changes by 45 degrees in a second. Suddenly you have multiple shot rocks underneath the vehicle. But it's okay because you have an inch of steel between the side of the rocks and the differential. So that's going to make a heck of a lot difference. And then you have the aftermarket bumpers. Steel bumpers not only look cool, but they have severe multiple purposes. Not severe, but they serve multiple purpose and get you, good for some severe conditions. They're one of the best truck mods, not just from a style perspective, but usability. A truck standard bumpers are meant for low speed impact. In a city, a steel bumper will likely take a chunk out of the pillar. The primary purpose of a steel bumper is to take the kind of abuse a regular bumper just can't take. And that's definitely what you need. An aftermarket bumper comes with a better recovery point. Now, most off-road vehicles have recovery points, such as the Bronco. I believe there's 4 of them on there. But you'd be surprised how easily they disappear under a foot of mud or sand. So that's just something to think about. Boy, oh boy, so much to think about with this. But hey, it's a nice place to be. Winch and tow hooks. Now, if you're going to go if you're going to be going off-road and you're going to be hardcore, you're going to get stuck at some point in time. And so having a winch and tow hooks is just something that you need. And you're going to have a hell of a lot of fun with this, baby. I mean, can you imagine? You see the winch and tow hook kits on this Bronco right here. So many different options, so many ways to put it. Roof rack. Now, roof rack might seem like an overland only modification, but it can be useful for carrying spare tires, lifestyle accessories. You will likely damage a tire at some point, especially when rock crawling. Now, some rocks are sharp, so it's great to have an extra tire also on that roof rack. Just something to think about. There's so much, man. There's so much ways to spend money, but you can have a fun time doing it. Now, cheap truck mods include the following. I don't know, but perhaps you can retread the tires. You can do that for under $100. Grab handles, fire extinguishers, spotlights, grease for keeping mud out of vital components, and mud flaps and lift kit. Now, who would think of grease? Which makes sense because it stops the water from getting to the vital components. So that's cool. That's important. Something to think about. Something to research. Now, if you're handy at welding, you can make your own custom rock sliders. Now, if not, search around for used parts, but it comes with them. I mean, Bronco, you have to order the rock sliders. And I think it's just, hey, if you got the money like that, you can go ahead and just make sure your rig is set up because you're going to do some things that are like off the kilter. So some things that are good to have when you're going off-road is an extra pair of eyes. And from what I heard too, I don't know too much, but the camera system also serves as an extra pair of eyes on the Ford Bronco. But you got to get that option, the 360 option, where you can actually see the rocks close up. Know what your Bronco is capable of and understand what the limitations are. And go as slow as possible. And also go to the school to help you, they have the school, the rodeo. Make sure you go to that so you can just see what your rig is capable of. So, and that'll just make it, perhaps it'd be a great Father's Day treat. But I think just you just have to set it up and make sure that you go so you can see what the limitations are. So there's some common mistakes too when making off-road modifications. And remember, everything has a downside. Mud and rock terrain tires, noisy, have less grip on regular roads. A roof rack is excellent from a practical standpoint, but it's also loud and hurt gas mileage too. Now, a suspension lift kit improves ground clearance and articulation, but the higher the center of gravity makes it less stable on the road. Now, when you fit aftermarket parts, they're good. There's a good chance it wasn't designed uniquely for that. It won't be designed for your Bronco. So make sure they're designed for your Bronco. And if you have the option of a component design for your vehicles, specifically, it's always worth paying a higher price over a part that wasn't. Something to think about. There's a positive and negative side for each upgrade, which is why we need to decide what it's used for. Look at the Bronco holistically and not just the modifications. Do some investigation to determine whether you're going to be happy with a specific upgrade, or rather you just want to just make sure that you can do it. And it's great to go off-road training. Definitely do that. Set that up. It's also a complimentary when you do buy your Bronco. You're going to be able to go to that school. Just make the time to do it. It's going to be a great family time. Modern technology also help. It depends on how traditional you are when it comes to off-roading. Many folks believe that an off-roader should have a manual gearbox, solid axles front and rear, manually locking hubs, differentials. And you see a brake-based traction control system has the devil work. So people are like, what? Systems like the Land Rover Terrain Response makes it all that easy as pie. You get the and you have the Bronco with a one paddle braking system, which is definitely nice. Make sure you read about it and how it works. And it's no excuse for braking though. However, read into it, find out more about this. This is A Automotive Reviews. Thanks for watching. Remember, like, share, and subscribe, and have a fantastic day. Hey you guys, A Automotive Reviews. Remember, like, share, subscribe. And thanks for coming to the channel. I appreciate you. Until then, we out.